Jennifer, the stream is live now. I have made you host back again.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Jennifer, how are you today?
Hi, Miss Carol Sue. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Very
I sent Liz some suggestions taking it for you, so she should be contacting you.
She did. Okay, good.
Because I sent her some suggestions.
Great. Always helpful. How's everybody? I see all these names. I don't see any faces yet. And we always have a pretty good crowd too. We will wait for everybody to come on in.
So what has the weather been like down your way?
Well, you know, it's funny that you asked that. We don't ever have normal weather. We have had a couple of storms come through, and they were kind of brutal. But other than that, the last couple of days have been beautiful. And I mean, it's like perfect weather to work outside.
Well, my friend she lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, and she had a tornado taking and mosey
she got
on
some
through.
of the same stuff we did.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, sure did. So, hey, everybody. I see lots of names. I will encourage you to turn your face on, turn your video on so I can see some smiles. I don't care if you have bad hair. You could mop or sweep a floor with mine, okay? So I'm not here to judge. If you don't have video or you just absolutely say, oh, I just can't, okay, I certainly want you to stay here and enjoy the class. It's a beautiful Sunday here in Shreveport, Louisiana. And I bet that I don't have any other Shreveporters in here. I bet that you all are from either up north or maybe Texas or Florida, Michigan, Ohio, California. Just a guess. Now I see some people popping in. Janet has a nice, beautiful view of the sky and a tree. So welcome. This is a recycling craft class. I'm betting if you've been here before, you might have taken one of the other craft classes. And I call this my therapy class because I'm a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. And this is the class where I don't have to be a nurse. So it's my therapy. I enjoy finding things that I have right under my nose and making something out of them. I always find a little challenge in picking up something and deciding what I can do with it. So, and make a lot of gifts that way. And sometimes sell a few things just because people have a lot of requests when they see things that I've done. So they'll request things. And so I do make some things occasionally. It'll never be a living. That would take all the fun out of it for sure. Can't give up my nursing job. So this is my therapy. So welcome. I love seeing these faces. Hi, Diane, Linda, Henrietta. Is it Mercy? Mercy. Janet, Pam, yeah. And Carol Sue. I never get to see Carol Sue. She helps me out though. Okay, and so we also have a couple of people from our support team from Get Set Up on. And if you have any kind of issues at all, you can talk to them in the chat and they will help you. If you're having any difficulty with the Zoom, I'm not the master of Zoom, but there is certainly someone there who will assist you in getting everything right so you can enjoy the class in every way that you possibly can. And they are really great. Also, when we are finished, you're going to get an email from me and you're going to have an opportunity to give some feedback, which we encourage you to do because the Get Set Up support team always looks to see what they can improve upon or what more you might like to see that you haven't been able to find on Get Set Up. Also, for some of you old timers that have been here for a while, you notice the old website. It's recently changed. If you have any feedback about that new website, they're still listening to that from you folks who use it and navigate it. If you have any problems with it, Marv also has a class to actually orient to the new features. So I like to throw that in there. Make sure that you're aware of that. But welcome again. We're going to get started and we're going to do something kind of fun. And I have a male model present today to help us out. I know you're very excited about that. His name is Bo, and he's sitting in my lap. Okay. And I want to make sure that you can see him. And Bo has a bow tie. See? A little bow tie. And so, of course, it's named a bow tie because my Bo is actually, his name is Gizbo. We call him Bo, but he kind of looks like when his ears are out, that little gremlin on Gizmo on the Gremlins movie. His ears stick out and he kind of reminds you of Gizmo. So I called him Gizbo because we'd already named him Bo. And since I'm in the great state of Louisiana, where there's Cajun country, his name is spelled B-E-A-U-X. So I call these B-E-A-U-X bow ties. So if you're not familiar with French Cajun names, that's a French Cajun spelling. So we're going to find out how we can take some scrap material and make some cute little bow ties. He's very excited about this. You can tell, huh? All right, you've done your job. You can go. So this is going to be so much easier than you think. And I will tell you, and I've told many of you that have been here before, I don't really sew. I can sew a button, I can stitch a couple of things, but I kind of run from things when it says something about actual hands-on sewing anything. I'm not a master. I'm a jack of all trades and a master of none, probably, except maybe on the nursing side, maybe a little more. But when it comes to crafts, I'm kind of I call myself the Bob Ross, and it's happy little accidents. So I start something with one thing in mind and it goes to something else. Well, I decided to take this on because it does not really involve sewing. Okay. And if you have scrap material at your house, or even if you don't have scrap material, this is what I've done. I'm going to show you. Let me show you my examples first. These are some little bow ties I've made in the last few days. Okay, want to make sure you can see them okay. And although I do have some scrap material, which would be like this with the little Christmas trees on it, that's actually scrap material that I had. I'm not really sure where this material came from because I don't remember when I got it. And he has one on like this. I will have to say that I think the rest of this, maybe the red might be scrap material, but the rest of this did not even come from material that I used for anything because, again, I'm not really a seamstress. I use it in crafting mostly. But even if you don't have scraps, you can get pretty creative. This bow tie, as well as this bow tie, and this, several others on here. I give you one guess as to what they're made of, what the material came from.
From recycling, I think.
Sock.
Socks? No, but that's a great guess.
Shirts.
Nope.
Recycled materials.
It's recycled materials, but guess what it came from? Y'all are gonna cringe.
Oh,
There's
men's
tops.
boxers. That's what you.
Oh, yeah.
Boxer shorts.
Yep.
These actually, we had a cute little pair of red, white, and blue boxer shorts for years that my younger son wore when he was little to bed. He didn't wear, he just wore them like pajamas. So I've always saved those. And I think I finally pulled them out. And so they're in shreds now. The elastic was left and that was about it. I have more pieces of it here actually to make more bow ties. So those are from boxer shorts. These as well from adult boxer shorts that were really, really old. Of course, I make sure they're clean. I promise I do. But they're really old, like the elastic had dry rotted, but the material was great. And it makes a great little bow tie. So why not? Okay. So even if you don't have scraps, like I have a few, you can find some. Now I will tell you also, and if were any of y'all in my class, I think Marlene was. Hi, Marlene. When I made hangers, when I did the hangers that had the wrap, so with scrap material to keep clothes on the hangers. Anybody in here for that one? Well, and I cut up a body pillow case and used it. Well, this is actually a pillowcase, but it's one of those pillow sham cases. And it was one that was never used and wasn't ever going to be used. And so I've made some cute little plaid ties out of it. And some of them are a little bigger than others. You can adjust. But I'm going to show you how easy this is. Now, first, let me show you kind of the back side of it as well. Maybe you can, let me find one that's easy to see. Oops, I didn't put a tie on the back of that one. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, so you see, I just took some of the little boxer shorts and there's the little blue part. There's not many parts. On the back is just a glued piece of elastic. So you can see it. So it's so easy because it's not something that has to be tied around a dog's neck. By the way, you can make these for other animals. It doesn't have to be a dog, but you might just have to adjust for size. But that's just a little piece of elastic on the back and it just slides right on their collar. So you can change it out. You could have one for every occasion or every season, whatever you want to do. They could be school colors. They could be anything, but I think they're fun. I'm always dressing up my poor dog. He probably hates me silently, but anyway, I think they're cute. So you could make them for pretty much any pets, I guess. Might be a challenge to get one around a horse or something, I guess. But so I'm going to show you how easy this is. Speak of the devil.
You can use that for ponytails too. If you.
Yeah, you can use them for ponytail holders too. That's right. So I'm going to show you. Now, this is always the challenging part because I have to be able to position my computer down so you can see what's in front of me. And I tried to actually add a video to help y'all see some of it that I can't show you in the video. I could not get it to send to my own email. So I'm going to explain. Okay, so first of all, you're going to take material and I have some that's fairly flat. I would advise, because I tried this without ironing it, I would advise that you kind of press it because it makes it a lot easier. It really does. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to want to cut a piece. Try to make sure y'all can see. You're going to want to cut a piece about this size. Now, what size is this? Well, I have found, and you can make it smaller, you can make it bigger. I have found that making it somewhere between 7 and 8 inches in length is good. and about 4 inches wide. This one is actually a tad wider. And the reason for that is I wasn't using a measuring thing. I cut one and then I was kind of guesstimating around it. So they got a little bit bigger, and that's fine. So, but anyway, somewhere around 7.5 inches long and about 4 inches wide, or maybe a little tad bigger. I probably wouldn't go much smaller unless it's for a very small animal or a little tiny human. So I found it was easier just to take a permanent marker and make some little marks and cut out my pieces when I had some the approximate size. So here's some that I have cut out. Hopefully you can see those okay. Let me put that back out of the way. And here's what you're gonna do, okay? So keep in mind, you're also gonna need an iron, okay? Can y'all all see? Silence means yes, I guess. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna fold it over. And I like to take the iron and kind of press it down a little bit. And then this is, and I don't think I brought the package in there. This is what's called fabric tape, or it goes by other names, mesh, fabric mesh maybe, but it's very inexpensive. If you do anything with crafts or with seams, being a seamstress, you probably already have some of this. I actually bought this. I'm going to tell you though, you can probably do this craft without this, because I did a couple of them without it. Okay. But to make it easier, you just take a piece, tear off what you need, or cut it, whichever you want. And when you've pressed this piece down, it's going to stay pretty good. You're going to fold this one over the top of that fabric mesh, and you're going to iron it. And so it's going to stay down, and it's going to look like this. And that's actually got the seam on it, but that's one that I actually pressed just a little while ago. And that's what it's going to look like. If you don't have any of this, what I would advise is making a great attempt at pressing this really, really well. And maybe if you're really having trouble, adding just a little dot of hot glue or fabric glue, if you have that, and keeping it down. I found I really didn't do either with some of them. I pressed it and kept it in place. And then I worked with it, just holding it together, and it worked okay. I'm going to show you a different bow tie. Okay, so this bow tie was the first one that I made, which is ironic because it has cats on it. So I called Bo Cat Daddy.
Mhm.
So it looks different than these other ones because it's bigger, and I didn't loop it over. I didn't actually fold it over. I could have, but I didn't. I tried it this other way. And when he wears it, it's quite cute. So if you really wanted to, you can do it this way. And you see, it's just got a little piece of elastic on it, and he wore it for a while, but you can kind of see how I turned the ends under. And I did put, I ironed and pressed them really well. And I think I put just a little piece of glue under there, not much at all, but it holds together really well. That was also material, which I think came from my mother's house. I have no idea what was ever made out of this Cat Daddy material, but there you go. So once you have this piece in place, if you would like, you can take a little rubber band, and I don't know if I have a rubber band in here. The little tiny hair ties work well. The little, really, really small little rubber bands. If you're not good with your fingers, if they've got arthritis or anything, you can do this without a rubber band. But you're going to take this and fold it over so it meets. I like to see where it's about halfway. And take your glue gun . And I just put a little tiny bit of glue, not much. And then do the other side. Now, look, if y'all don't have a dog, these make great gifts. They make really great gifts. Okay, so that very little bit of glue there will hold that together. Now here's where, if you have a little tiny hairband, rubber band or something, you can scrunch it up in the middle, just where you want it. If you don't want to use the rubber band, that's okay. I did it one time, and sometimes I use a rubber band, sometimes I don't. But I found that this glue gun, because it is the heavy duty, really, really, really hot one, obviously used a lot. When I put glue in the middle where the rubber band was, guess what happened? It broke. It melted the rubber band because it was so thin. So you have to be aware of that just in case. Okay, so what I'm missing here is the middle. What you're going to need to do there is take that same material that you had, or what other material you want, and you're going to cut another piece. And if you want to cut a bunch ahead of time, that's great. This piece is going to be about 4 inches long. So one of the measurements is going to be the same as the other piece that you were making. And the width really is going to be about maybe 1.25 inches wide. If it gets to be wider, it's okay. That's okay. But you really only need about 1.25 inches and then about 4 inches this way. If it's a little bit off, again, it's just fine. Okay, so you have that piece cut out. What I do first is take a little hot glue and put it on the back side, preferably without burning my fingers. This is probably where you want that rubber band in there. And if you use a lower temp glue gun, you won't run the risk that I do with this one. One of these days, I'm going to get some more hot glue sticks for my other ones, but I haven't done it yet. Carol, Sue, you know how long it's been since I've had regular hot glue. So you're just going to hold that there.
But
and then
Jennifer, I do have a suggestion. Do what Martha Stewart does. What Martha Stewart does is whenever she's hot gluing, no matter whether it is an extra hot one or a regular one, she gets a glass of water with a couple ice cubes in it, so that if the glue gets on your finger, you dip your finger in that ice water and
before it blisters.
Right.
That's smart. This is why I'm not Martha Stewart. Okay, so you're just going to take that, squish it up as much as you can in the middle and wrap it around. If you have to cut off some excess, you can do that. Now, the way that I actually like to do it, I didn't do it on this one, but I'll do it on the next one. I like to fold these so that they're smaller, but you don't have to do that if you prefer it like this. Since I had cut mine with pinking shears, it's kind of cute that way. But if you happen to cut a bigger piece, you're probably going to need to fold it over for sure. And I'm not gonna, yeah, I probably will. I'm just gonna hot glue it. I like to mention you can do this different ways because, you know, just because I tell you one way, the way I do it, that doesn't make it a rule. You figure out how it works best for you or how you like it. And you can still, if you're going to fold those over and use a smaller center, you can still hot glue it. You don't have to stitch it. Works just fine. So see, this one's a little bit different than the other one that I'd made like that. It's got a wider center, but it's cute. And then you're going to probably cut, I'd say that's about a 2-inch piece of elastic. And The way I have found easiest is just to glue it into a loop. If for some reason you need to use a bigger piece just because it's hard to hold on to without burning yourself, either cover your fingers, get that glass of water like Carol Sue said, or cut a bigger piece of elastic to work with. I just don't waste much, so that's just me. So then all you're going to do is glue it on the back. And if you're smart, you use something else to kind of press it down and hold it. I usually forget to do that though, you know. Now I'm trying to glue my marker to my fabric.
Use a clothespin.
And then voila, you have a cute little bow.
Use a clothespin.
You can do that. It dries so fast though, there's not really enough time to put a clothespin on there. So here is, let's do a red one here. So this one has already been fused. I have hot glue stringing everywhere. This one's already been fused and you can see that it's not even cut real straight. It's not going to matter. So, you know, if you're perfectionistic and you have a ruler and you want to cut down the lines and all, you feel free to do that, but I did not. So don't judge me. This is the way I did it. So the next part that I'm going to want is what center am I going to use? Well, maybe I'll use this. That'd be kind of cute, huh? So I'm going to, and you notice that I didn't even cut off the little end. It's really not going to matter. And this is very uneven, but again, not going to matter. So if you're OCD, you would not do well in my house right now because I don't, you know, I'd drive you insane, I'm sure. And quite honestly, I iron these down instead of glue them. And then I don't glue them, but since I'm not ironing on here, I'm just showing you. I think that you can also do this with glue. This is not the way that I did the other ones, but again, you know, just because I've been doing it one way doesn't mean there's not another way. So y'all have to keep that in mind. And by not using much glue, the reason that I say that is because it's not stiffening up where it won't move. Because you're going to want to use this to wrap around. So I'm going to glue the other side. Because this one's going to have a thinner center. This one actually probably would have been cute with a wider center since it has the stars on it, but that's okay. If you're really, really OCD about things, and I did actually trim the ends of this, so you can trim things to where they're straight and it makes you happy. This is all about doing something fun. It's not about, there's not really any rules. Kind of like that. You get to be a rebel. We're never too old to be a rebel, right? Okay. So I'm going to go back to my original piece with the glue strings all over it and decide where the center is and just glue these pieces down. Again, I don't use much glue. And you can even see I had made markings on the fabric to cut. It's not going to matter if you've put them on there because you really, when you're done, you can't see them anyway. So you can kind of see the beginning of the bow here. Okay, so now this is where you realize if you have much glue in there, if it will get stiff. So you don't want to use too much. And see, it looks like it's even kind of coming apart. It's not going to matter. You're going to wrap something around it. Those kind of little things, if you're too worried about them, it would make you crazy, but it's really not going to matter. And I told you, I still have this little raw end here from a seam. I'm just going to glue that down first, and it's going to be covered up. You won't see it either. It's going to be on the back, and it's going to be covered. So no worries at all. I like stuff that's easy and you can't really screw it up too bad. You know, or it's easy to recover from it if you've messed it up. If everything in life was like that, that'd be great. And while you're wrapping it around there, it's sometimes smart to just kind of adjust it to how you want it to look before you glue it down. And you see, I have a little extra here, and I don't really want it on the front side of it. So instead of cutting it, I'm just going to glue it under and then glue it down. You can do either. It doesn't really matter. My hot glue gun's on the wrong side of the table, but the plug's over there. So sorry, y'all. Okay, got a little extra hot glue. So then you just fluff it up however looks best, however you want it. And then all we have left is elastic. And I have some pre-cut elastic here. Again, about 2 inches. I think this is probably about 2 inches. Yeah, it's about 2 inches. And that's really all you need, because if you make it too big, it's not going to stay in place on the collar. And one of them that I made to begin with, it was a little bit bigger, and I could see how it would move a little bit on Bo's collar. So from then on, I made sure they were a little bit smaller. Now, if you've got a bigger collar, I don't know if they make them in lots of different sizes or not. I don't have a bunch of dogs. I only have one. So, you know, but I would assume they're all pretty much a standard size. I could be wrong, unless it's a different animal than a dog. But you can adjust your elastic, obviously, but it is elastic for a reason. You can, you know, it's supposed to stretch. So, and then you just glue that down. And we have another cute little bow. Now this one kind of folds a little bit, and that's okay. If it's on an animal, it's going to have all kinds of wear and tear, I'm telling you. But how cute is that?
Good.
Cute, cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this is the part you really want to see, I'm sure. Hold on here. Boxer shorts. Yep. How about that? Y'all thought I was kidding. Boxer shorts. And I think that's what's left of the little boxer shorts we used as pajamas. Now, does that tell you that I don't waste anything? Because I've saved the rest of it, because I'll actually use it to cover some more hangers, to keep the clothes on the hangers. So if you missed that class, that was a lot of fun too. That's been I don't know, several months ago. But that's a great idea if you have scrap fabric like that. I have a ton of wire hangers and I hate them, but I love the ones with the felt on them. So I use that stuff to cover those hangers, and it makes a great way to keep your clothes on there and use up those hangers that you get like from the dry cleaner and all. It's really great. So let me check and see here. Anybody have any questions about that? I think that's a fun craft. Everybody's so quiet today. I bet Marlene brought something to show.
Marlene is quiet too.
What's that? Who was that? All right. Nobody has any questions. Great idea. Yes. Thanks, Marlene.
No,
And
this
listen.
made out of fabric. It's
Hold it up.
see it? Okay,
Yes.
my husband likes Corvette, so this is a Corvette fabric, and it's for notes. You know, I cut paper, and then you can keep your scrap paper in here and write some notes.
Very
That's
nice.
one of my latest craft. Right. Thank you.
Was that scrap fabric or did you buy it?
No, it's scrap fabric. I covered a photo album with this fabric. Yeah, also.
So you had some left.
So I had some left over. Right. It's fun.
Yeah,
I do want to make those hangers. So
The hangers?
I want to make those. Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Pants are always falling off of the hangers. that I have.
Yes.
Yeah.
These
so
are
that's-
really great. And I'll have to do that again one day if y'all have not seen that, because it's so easy. And if you do have any kind of, the littlest, tiniest scraps are great. Matter of fact, they're probably better than bigger ones. And so I really get use out of everything. I was actually some of these scraps were for those hangers. That's the body pillow that I cut up.
Like
I think the
that.
zipper had busted and all. And it's also kind of that fuzzy material, like you.
Uh-oh, you froze.
You froze.
Oh,
You need some hot glue. You froze.
I think he got disconnected.
What happened?
Let's try to wait for her.
I'm here.
oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, not sure what happened. It just kind of went out.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. Make sure my internet is still on the same. Yeah, I don't know. Strange. Okay, so I was saying this was from that body pillow that I was referring to. And that actually is used, wrapped all around the hangers. And you can make really cute ones, decorating them and stuff. I made some for my daughters. Some were Harry Potter. I actually bought that material. It's just some like fat quarters. Harry Potter, I bought some fat quarters that had peace signs because my teenage daughter should have been born in this and lived in the 60s, I'm pretty sure. And so it was up her alley. So I made some for her and decorated them around the neck of the hanger and all. Really cute, great gifts, especially have somebody for a housewarming party or something. Great idea. But I will also tell you, if you have scraps and you make something like this for dogs, do you know how much money gets spent in the animal industry? Pet industry?
Right.
It's phenomenal. Okay. My husband works for a company called Verbac, which sells like medicines for animals. And the statistics and stuff that they come up with amazes me sometimes about the money that is spent on dogs and cats alone. So people invest in their pets. So you could probably, make and sell some of those in your spare time. And they're a great novel gift. Excuse me. Okay. So one other thing, I think that it might have been maybe not the last class, but the one before. Somebody was telling me that they were doing something that had glitter everywhere. And I said, oh, and glitter goes everywhere. Glitter is uncontrollable. Once you get the glitter out, it's just it's everywhere. And she said, she made the comment that they used a a tablecloth to do their craft with the glitter so that it kind of kept it somewhat contained. And so she was telling me about that. And I said, well, what did you do with the tablecloth? And she says, well, when I'm done, we can just throw it away.
Mm.
Said, don't throw the tablecloth away. Okay.
Mhm.
You can't live with me without asking this question. Don't throw the tablecloth away, because you can make something out of the tablecloth. You cut it up, make it, and put it in strips. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to show you how the kind of things that you can make. Here is one that is a Christmas wreath. This is all from from tablecloths. Green, red, and then a bow. And actually the decor on here is some empty ammo. I'm in Louisiana. This is Sportsman's Paradise. So anything with ammo is a pretty big item. And I had a friend who has a ranch, and he wanted one for the front of his truck. So I made him one, and then somebody else decided they wanted one. And it's April the something, and I still have it. So that is all plastic tablecloth. I'm going to show you what it looks like in the package. You might see them in Walmart or the dollar store. This is what it is right here. Now, if you use these for any reason, or you have some at home, don't throw them away unless they are just absolutely destroyed and tattered. But I'm telling you that you can make some absolutely beautiful wreaths or some other things with them. I'm going to show you a couple other examples, and then I'm going to show you how to do it and how easy it is. This is the wreath that I keep on the door at my office. That is all purple tablecloth. Okay. You can see the back. I've got a little piece of ribbon that I tied and attached to the back side. But all that is pieces of tablecloth. The decoration on it is not, obviously. The only thing that I did not make was this little dragonfly. That came from the Dollar Tree because it just kind of matched and I thought it went. The rest of this is all paper quilling that I did, made the roses. And this is, I do a lot of dementia education, if any of you have been in my dementia education class. And so this actually goes on the front door of my office, at my office. I brought it home so I could do this class today and kind of show it. So you can put anything on yours once you have the base made of the wreath. But
What did you use for the base? What
I'll
did you
show you that too. Now you can use anything that you can find that maybe with wire, but this is what I use. This is a wreath form that was also bought at Dollar Tree. There are some that are smaller. You could make a smaller one. But they have this kind. There are some other kinds. Again, you could probably, if you're good and you can form a circle of any type, you could make one with a single layer, or maybe put two together out of hangers. But these are, I mean, for $1, it's already made. So I have quite a few of them because I've stocked up several times when I happen to be in there. That's my daughter's favorite place to go is Dollar Tree. She'd rather go there than Disney World. So she's not exactly right, I think, but she's so much like
her well. You taught her well.
Yeah. So this is what you can use. So here's one that is in progress. Okay. And that's actually one that my daughter is making for a little girl that she babysits. And it was colors that I guess she has in her room and that the colors that she likes. So that's one that my daughter's actually making. This is another one that I have made and not put anything on. You could make one for spring. You can use any colors you want. You can do any pattern theme, college colors, NFL, if you're a big NFL, whatever you want. Halloween, you can imagine the number of things is endless, but that is all plastic tablecloth. And I think it's great because it's pretty. but also because it's plastic tablecloth, it's pretty weatherproof. So if you're going to put it outside, you wouldn't put the one that I made for my office outside because it has paper on it from paper quilling. However, when you make something out of plastic like that, it's probably going to be pretty durable. Now, I don't know if it's in the sun, if it's going to keep the color for how long. Not really sure about that. But usually if you have a wreath that's on a door or somewhere, I know some people put them on the windows, so it might get a little extra sun. But quite frankly, they're easy to make and very inexpensive. I mean, if you think about it, if you go in the Dollar Tree and you buy a plastic tablecloth for $1, it takes about 3 or 4 of them. And then the wreath form, if you buy that as well, it's $1. But a lot of people have, stacks of things like this in their house. They either never use, they bought them for a party and they never used them or whatever. I have found some at my house that I don't even know why I bought them. So I'm going to show you how to do this really quickly.
Jennifer, I have another hint about the glitter. Put the
Yeah,
glitter,
I don't use glitter a lot, but
put the glitter in a Ziploc bag, put the item into the Ziploc bag and do it like you're going to shake and bake it.
yeah, if it's a small item, you are absolutely right. Let's see. And someone says, I'm crafter, hope to learn new crafts. Thank you. Very good. I made a wreath out of clear garbage bags back in '67. Used a wire hanger, twisted into a circle. Yeah. If you're good at that, I would advise it. I mean, because then you're also using wire hangers that maybe you're not using otherwise. Dimensions of the strips. I can actually, if you like, I will show you what I do. That's a great question because I forgot to point that out. You can make really any length that you want to, as long as it's long enough. Let me go to this first, because I'm going to show you the strips. This is a stack of strips. Again, if you're OCD, you better turn off your camera right now because you're going to hate this. Okay, but we cut like stacks of strips at once, so this is a whole stack of them. You can see. And they're not equal. When you tie these on here, you cannot tell that these strips are not precise. I mean, would you look at this and say, oh, those are not even? Of course you wouldn't, because you can't tell. There's too many of it. I have them packed in there. And I like mine to be really thick. So you take one of these strips, and I will show you how I cut them in just a minute. You take one of these strips, and literally all you do, I advise starting from the inner wire. If you have one of these that has multiple circles or rows around it, I would advise starting with the inner one. And all you're going to do is take it and pretend like you're tying a bow. You're just going to knot it on there. And you're not going to want to pull too terribly hard, because if you do, that's plastic. You're going to stretch it out. If you do a little bit, it's okay. If you're OCD, this is probably not the craft for you, because you're going to be going, oh, that one pulled a little. It's really okay, because you're not going to see it when it's done. Worst case scenario, if you see some of it, you could trim it if you had to, but it's going to be okay. But you just continue going around. If I can get another one. Now, okay, so this is also, sometimes it's a little tricky because it's like being in the produce aisle at the grocery store. You have to pull them apart, and sometimes you're tempted to lick your fingers, right? COVID had to put an end to licking your fingers in the produce department. I've spent more time in the produce department. I don't even shop much, but I couldn't get those darn bags open.
I got a question here.
Uh-huh.
Question from Janet. What is the dimension of the strip?
Yes. Yeah, I'm about to give that. Because I don't have dimensions like I can tell you. I'm going to show you how I cut them. So, and then I'll measure one for you that I have. So see, when you start packing these in there, it's gonna start looking like this really cool, fluffy piece. Okay, so if you have one of these in a bag, it's really great because it's still folded up and it's easy to cut. So I'm going to show you how I do it if they are fresh out of the bag. I will also measure. Let me put my camera down here a little bit. And you can see that there's different lengths. They're not all the same. Again, if you're OCD, it might be a problem, but I'm really, really sorry. I'm just not that OCD. Look at this one. That one would really make an OCD person go crazy, right? You know, I've just decided I can't afford to be OCD because I craft too much. So you can see how different these are. They are probably about 6 inches, approximately 6 inches, a little more, a little less. But again, if you choose to make them longer, that is okay. But the easiest way to do this, okay, is to open the bag up and leave this just like it is. Leave it folded just like it is. And then let's hope my scissors are even sharp enough to cut today, okay? So then I'm gonna stand up here. I cut, let's see about how wide this is for y'all. Probably about 2 inches, no, inch and a half, maybe. It's not that big. Probably about 1.5 inches wide. It's gonna be pretty hard to cut through. And if it's too hard for you to cut through, you can open it some and do less. But this to me is faster. And you see, look, it's already all going crazy. Everybody's going, oh my gosh, that line is not straight. And it's not. If you do it like this, your hands may get tired too, but you don't have to cut as much, so. Okay, so now I have this beautiful little strip here, a whole strip that is not even. I'm flaunting that. It's not even. Okay, so I just fold that in half and then cut through the middle.
You might want to use kitchen shears. They're better, but less. I have arthritis, and I use kitchen shears for a lot of things because they're fatter and easier to hold and cut
Yes.
better too.
Yeah, whatever works for you. Now, the next thing I do, and understand that was the end piece. So I made that difficult, right? The next thing that I'm going to do is have to cut these in half because that actually doubled over and made 2 sets of strips. So I'm going to cut them all in half. Those lines are also not straight lines. And then, look, it's got a horn. Okay, so now they should be apart. Now, occasionally I'll get to working on these things and I'll have some that are stuck together still because they're not cut thoroughly. It's okay, I just cut it, not a big deal. So I just cut the ends into a point.
But you would look pretty with pinking shears too.
Yes, but yeah, some people don't want to use their pinking shears on the plastic, but yeah, I agree. I use my pinking shears a lot. You see this? It's actually because they're sharper than my scissors. So there you have a whole stack of pieces to use. And you just do the same thing. You cut a strip and you cut them about the same length. And again, it's not going to matter if they're not all the same size. And then you continue to tie them on until you have it just like you want it. And then put whatever you want on it. If you want to decorate it for Christmas, it's easy to buy Christmas ornaments if you don't know really how to decorate something. I like to be creative and put something on there that I've made, so it's all kind of unique. If you know how to make a bow, put a bow on there, whatever you want. But I think it's a really, it's one of those things that you can sit and do really easily while you're watching TV or anything. You just tie them on there. My daughter says, this really gets monotonous. And I say, yes, but it's something to do with your hands while you're, sitting in front of the TV. And if you are one of those people that you have a lot of stuff that you don't even know why you bought it in the past, or it was never used, or maybe it's used and you're recycling it, then it's a great way. Again, you can get a wreath form that's even smaller than that if you want to buy one. There are some that are a little bit smaller, and so they wouldn't take as many. But all in all, to make one of those big ones probably takes about, depending on how you pack it in there, 3 to 4 tablecloths. So you could spend $5 at the dollar store if you had none of these supplies, and you could spend $5 and have enough to make a wreath. So that's pretty good, I would say.
Jennifer, I'm thinking that you could put a picture in the center and make it into a picture frame.
You could. You probably could.
Or
Mhm.
even a mirror you could put in the center.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be kind of cool looking, actually. There are many things you could do with it, but I wanted to show that because somebody just in one of the last classes mentioned about their tablecloth. And I said, I'm going to bring that and I'm going to show y'all. Don't throw away your plastic tablecloths. Now, also, I've seen that during the seasonal time, like St. Patrick's Day and different occasions, I've noticed, and I'm always tempted to buy these tablecloths because they have like all these spring colors. Some of them are flowers, or maybe it's a party occasion, or they have balloons. And I've been tempted to buy those and use them, but I have all this stuff and I try to use what I have. And I bet y'all are guilty of the same thing, though. You think, oh, but I could do this. And you think, I'm going to have to live until I'm about 4,000 years old to use up what I have at home, right? So anyway, so anybody have any other questions or comments or anything to show us the rest of the class? I see Marcy's giggling over there.
Jennifer, I'm just asking you, last time I missed your class. Do you know when you're scheduled for the next class?
I do not know. I don't think they've scheduled one yet, but I did not have one last Sunday. I've been doing some on Sundays because I think it's a fun getaway. And it's easier for me to do it from home because when I'm at my office a lot during the week, it's harder to have all my stuff. But I have done quite a few on Sundays. If y'all have a preference for what day you find them, you can certainly give that feedback to get set up so they can encourage. I didn't have one last Sunday because it was Easter and I spent the whole day with my family, and that was a really nice Easter. Hope y'all all had a nice Easter holiday as well. Let's see. Crafters always accumulate a lot of stuff. Yes, especially if you're like me and you make stuff out of stuff that you have at home. Everyone will voluntarily give you their stuff. So it works out well.
I have a question. You said you work with dementia patients.
Mm-hmm.
Do you use these crafts when you work with them?
Well, it's funny. Sometimes, depending on what we're doing, I do bring some things into it occasionally. But mostly with some of the dementia clients, if I'm doing something hands-on with them, a lot of it may have to do with sorting and things. And for instance, I had a lady this week who I had her sorting through all my wine corks because I'd like to make something out of a mat for the bathroom out of wine corks. But if you notice, some wine corks are real cork and some of them kind of more of a plasticky, I don't know what it is, but I have a lot of the plasticky kinds and I have a lot that are a certain brand that have the little barefoot that people have given me. And so I was trying to separate things and I had them all in this big giant container. So I actually had my client who has some pretty significant dementia sorting and pulling out all the ones that had the feet and putting them in a bowl and separating them. And so she actually completed all that for me. And it was very helpful to me. And she, served a great purpose and felt really good about doing that. So I'm very strategic about what I do.
Yeah, the reason I ask is I live in a retirement community and we have what we call an intermissions program, and it's for different stages of dementia. And we have a lot of craft and thing, and it's really amazing how they come alive with doing these things. That's why I asked.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. If it's something they were interested in before they had dementia, then chances are they're going to be successful at doing it when you get them involved in it, even with dementia, because a lot of that is committed to muscle memory and they don't lose that. So that's really great for you to notice that too. Appreciate you with that input. You'll have to join me in my dementia education class as well.
I don't know about it. When is that?
Yeah,
When do you teach that one?
I don't know if they've scheduled anything this week or not yet, but you can certainly look on the Get Set Up website. It's dementia education for caregivers. Also have a long-term care class. So by all means, I invite you all to join. I'm so glad to see you all. And I encourage you to come back, look for me again, and bring whatever you make back to share as well. Marlene's really good about that. I have to give her the kudos because she's good about sharing with me, and I love that. But yeah, if y'all will give us some feedback, it gets set up, and let us know what you like and what you prefer, what you'd like to see. We really appreciate that. I hope y'all have a great Sunday. What's that?
I said, you are a ray of sunshine.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Take
you.
care, Jennifer. I
Y'all
hope
have a good one.
all
Thanks,
right, be
Carol
good.
Sue.
Bye. Stay safe.
Okay, thank you.